Well, good evening, everybody. It is Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead, and we are so excited you are here tonight. Mm-hmm. We got a show for you.
Have we? Yeah, that's fun.
What?
Nothing. That's just funny.
Does anybody know what we're talking about? Have we got a show for you? Veggie Tales.
Oh, that's right.
Veggie Tales.
It's been a long time since I've watched Veggie Tales, so.
Veggie Tales are great.
Yes, they are.
So tonight, the topic of discussion, actually, we're bringing it back.
Are we?
Yeah, I wanted to say we're putting the band back together,
No.
but that is not the case.
I think we're getting a little old for that, honey. Yes.
For what?
Bringing the band back together.
You were never in the band.
I was a roadie. I schlepped the stuff everywhere. I did.
She could really arrange those T-shirts on the table. That is for sure.
Hey,
that is for sure. She did a good job.
Hey, I moved more guitars and amps than I care to mention.
Okay. Okay.
It was
Whatever
mostly
you
kids.
say.
It was mostly kids that I would schlep around, you know, because we had little kids when you were in the band, and so I had the double stroller and piling them all in. Let's go.
Well, let's see if there's anybody who's truly old school in the crowd in terms of knowing Big Family Homestead. About 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 2.5, we used to do a daytime program on Mondays called, anybody?
Anybody know what it is?
Anybody know what we did on Mondays 2.5 years ago before we moved here?
I'm going to string. No, I'm not.
I'm going to pensively
I don't have beards.
stroke my beard. I'm pensively. As Brad pensively strokes his beard. Well, why don't you say hi?
Hi, everybody. City Homestead, Marcy Black, Scott M. Franklin, North Carolina, Bev Cramp, Keaton Nelson, 2, Sparrows Homestead, North Star Prep Starter, Phoebe Long. Jeez, how the heck are ya?
How the heck are ya? That works.
Kara Smith, Stony Acres, Barbara Quilting and Gardening, Life in the UP, North Star Prep Starter, Larry Parrish, Heather, my friend. I miss you.
Karen got it. Prepper Mondays.
Yep,
Prepper Mondays.
Funny.
Yeah, we used to do a thing that was it was all on different topics of prepping, how to connect people, how to get everything going, and that's what we're going to do.
Yep.
So until we get bored of it, Monday nights.
Or you get bored of it.
Yeah, if you get bored of it, let us know. But it'll be Prepper Mondays.
Funny.
Now, as we start.
But wait a minute.
There's more.
Okay, but wait, there's more. See, on the old Prepper Mondays, it used to be heavy metal, rock, and
I'll do that.
Flames coming out of my head. Wasn't
For the
that?
intro.
Yeah, it was really, you'll have to go back and look at those.
I made it kind of rock and roll.
They're pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. So, we are going to reinstate Prepper Monday. And tonight is going to be the first of many.
Oh, my.
And I'll tell you what, even if you're not a prepper, we will make it entertaining. Trust me.
It's not all doom and gloom, folks.
No, as a matter of fact, it's anti-doom and gloom, to be honest.
Yes, anti.
To be honest, completely
all
honest.
Anti.
And we're also going to be reinstating our channel shout-out moment.
Well, we've done that the last couple weeks, haven't we?
Ish.
Okay.
Ish.
We'll do it again.
We'll do it again. Yay for Prepper Mondays, says Baker Mom. So what we're going to do tonight, it's going to be a mixed bag. We're going to kind of just do a broad brush stroke.
Mixed bag.
Who was that guy, the painter man? Bob Ross. I need to get me some hair like that. Happy trees, happy trees, happy trees. Don't you remember him?
Yes, I do, and that's why I'm laughing.
Happy trees.
Because that's so funny. Cody loves watching Bob Ross.
Cody's
Claire's
boyfriend. Her friend
loves
who is a
to
boy.
Watch, yes, loves to watch Bob Ross.
Yeah.
Cracks me up.
So anyway, well, actually, you know what? I'm seeing that Tyler Woods is in the house. Hats off to you, Tyler Woods. His book, I think I might have it right over there. If I do not, Tyler Woods is an author, and he's written some books that deal with the topic of preparedness.
I do not see it.
Well, actually, what you can do is you can go to Amazon and Google his name, and it'll come up.
Yes.
And so he is an author, so he's legally allowed to talk about prepping in open circles.
Isn't it called the 11th hour?
Yes.
The 11th hour preparedness.
Go ahead and, you know what, Tyler? Please go ahead and put the title down there. And that way, we're shamelessly plugging you, but you have to type it because we can't type it.
Right, because I don't remember the exact...
She's a prepper. Wouldn't you like to be a prepper too?
Nice, Phoebe. Nice.
North Star Prepsteader, is that still Cody? Same guy.
Same Cody.
We have this sneaky suspicion that he might be the one.
It's okay. We like him.
He's a good kid.
We like his family too. So.
Oh yeah, and that's cool because we're actually friends with his mom and dad. Like friends.
Yes.
So we threatened Claire and Cody that if they mess up our friendship by breaking up,
it's not going to be good.
Get a fresh one.
Good. Look in the bathroom.
Get a fresh one. Happy cheese.
No,
Happy
the
cheese.
book is not in the bathroom.
I think Caleb's got it. He's using it as a dartboard.
Oh my gosh.
Target. No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
That's funny.
I'm just looking around because I don't think I ever brought it back downstairs because I skim it every once in a while.
It's not under there.
It's okay. Please type in your 11th hour preparedness and tell them how they can get it. So
there it is.
Tonight, first things first. How many of you out there would say that you are to some degree or try to be prepared for the what if scenarios in life? How many of you would you say? Because I know some of you. Be honest. Hey, Michael. I know some of you are, and you can say, you know, hey, I do little or I do a lot or I'm really into it or I think you guys are complete whack jobs. You can say that.
Well,
is it on Amazon?
Yes, it is on Amazon.
The book.
Alicia, yeah.
Okay, so how would you describe? Well, you know what? We're kind of weird. I was going to say, how would you describe what we do as preppers? But we're homesteaders too.
Well, we didn't start out that way.
Correct.
We started out as preppers, where we bagged up rice in Mylar bags and put it in 5-gallon buckets and with oxygen absorbers so rice and beans and sugar and flour and lots of different things that we bagged up. And then it just came to us. It kind of clicked, saying, "What?"
I just keep looking for his book.
Oh,
that's not it. That's not it.
I forgot to turn off my sound.
But I want to add, and then I'll let you continue jump on in there. But in the beginning, we did it as it was reactionary. Mm-hmm. It was honestly based out of, oh my gosh, it was kind of almost like fear-based, where we realized we didn't have the basic stuff of life if I couldn't get to the store. So then, continue on.
So we, did all of this stuff, prepping, saving all these things, canning and things like that. However, then we realized, okay, well, what if it hits the fan and we run through all of this stuff that we've saved? How are we going to replenish? Well, you got to learn how to grow those beans and some kind of sweetener, i.e. bees and honey. So we did that, and growing, stuff in the garden. So that's where we started into that, and then we thought, okay, well, what about dairy? We kind of need dairy.
Especially for our daughter Grace.
Especially for Grace. And then, what about meat? So we started in with meat chickens. And then
I started eating more. That way, if it came to it, they could,
So then we started with meat chickens. And then, then we moved into pigs and then cows. It was... honestly, up here it's super easy to, well, I wouldn't say super easy. It's become, I wouldn't say easy, but I would say it's like second nature.
It's a way of life.
It's a way of life here for us to raise a steer or two.
Yeah.
Which is what we're doing right now.
It's not uncommon.
Right, and have for the last, this is our second year. And I love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would never not do it. Having the meat in the freezer or canning the meat, and it's just there. It's awesome.
Roast bread. Yeah. So tonight, once again, I want to start by saying that we used to do this out of fear. Like, what if you couldn't get to the store?
Right.
And to be honest, we would spend a lot of money just getting to GFS, which is a Gordon food store. It's like a restaurant
food service, yeah.
Restaurant service. And we buy the big 50-pound bags of X, Y, and Z, and we still have a lot of it.
Yes.
We still have a lot of it.
Yes. Because
And
that stuff will last. If you've bagged it and put in oxygen absorbers, it will last 20 years.
some of it will.
Some of it will, right.
We'll get into all the specifics of that, but that'll be its own show day.
Right.
But what I wanted to say is that now it's not a fear-based thing at all. I am informed, I know how to do this, I have a skill. What used to be fear now is just something you do. It's a part of life. Like we have we garden, we do all that kind of stuff. But now, in addition to, we have fun going out using our Second Amendment rights and doing those sort of activities and getting better at that.
Yep.
Not from an offensive standpoint, but from a defensive standpoint.
Exactly.
We don't feel like you gotta, if everything goes to heck in a handbasket, that you're gonna go out there running and trying to steal everybody's junk. I think that's the silliest thing ever.
No, that is very silly.
But I think we should define some definitions for those people
Okay.
who might not know.
For?
Prepping definitions.
Okay.
All right.
You got some?
So those of you out there who,
Okay. No, go ahead. Sorry.
those of you out there who know some definitions of prepping, type the word and then the definition. I'll start with the big one, SHTF.
Oh my gosh.
And it's,
We're not going to...
we're not going to say it.
No. Okay.
Well, why would you think I would say
No,
it?
I just... Making sure. Just making sure.
Are you kidding me? I don't say it normally.
I know. Okay.
Jeez.
Drama much? Come on now.
SHTF, when the poo hits the fan,
Yeah.
right? North Steady, okay, exactly. Now, a lot of what we do, I'm just catching a lot of what we did back in the 1990s. See, a lot of what I think prepping and homesteading and prep steading, they're all kind of blended together in our world now. And I think one of the biggest things is that you've got to learn skills. Like, if you shizzle hits the fizzle. I saw that you called, and I'm going to try and call you back, Steve.
Just not right now.
Yeah, well, the phone's being used.
Right.
Other things, like, other people will use the term when the balloon goes up. Now, that one I don't understand. Why would a balloon go up signify bad stuff?
I don't know, but I like what Tyler Woods says. A fecal fan convergence.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So, now, first things first. Once again, not fear-based. But, if you were to be honest, would you be able to feed yourself for 3 months and your family? Would you?
I know we could.
Would you, could you, in a bush? Would you, could you, on your tush? Would you, could you, here or there? Would you, could you, anywhere? Would you eat my green eggs and hams? No?
No, I wouldn't eat green eggs. Because green eggs are stinky. Ugh.
Not in a tree?
Not in a tree.
Not with me?
No, nope, not with you.
Okay, if you had to say, how long do you think would be a minimum safe time for any family to have food on the shelf?
At least a year.
A year?
At least a year, yeah.
A year?
Yeah. And a way to resupply it as well. You know, not just having stuff on the shelf, because you're going to have what they call food fatigue. It's going to get really boring really fast. If the only thing you have to eat is rice and beans. Oh my gosh.
You might
Make sure
survive,
you
but you'll
store
hate
some
it.
spices. You need spices, trust me.
I do not like them, Sam. I am.
No.
Yeah, and that's a great thing. Well, let's talk about food storage.
Okay.
Start out with stuff that, first of all, that you'll eat.
That is crucial.
Don't go buy a bunch of stuff that you've never bought or tasted or like.
Right.
Because if you end up with 100 pounds of stuff that you won't touch,
You can give it to the neighbors.
but that's such a waste.
But it is such a waste. It is. It really is. Yeah. Make a list of the things that you like to eat. And then go from there.
Start there.
Right.
Look for sales. Of course, the dried goods are going to last longer, like your rices, your beans, but try to get variety.
Yes.
Don't just go with one little thing.
Right.
And you know what's not, here's something maybe you guys can say. Do you think, or have you noticed in your grocery stores, ever since we were in Cincinnati, at least 4 years ago, I've noticed that the selection, the amount of selection, the items on the shelf
Gotten smaller.
is reducing.
Yeah.
And I noticed that because we started picking up those bags of beans like cheap, like 40 cents. And I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah,
But then they never replenished them.
No. They were clearancing them out, I think, because they were reducing the package sizes.
Yep.
And they were changing the package, changing the labels. So that's why they were clearancing those out.
Scott Franklin, you do not need to return 500 pounds of jelly beans. You can bring them over to my house. You do not.
Yes. No, do not return those. Bring those here.
Yeah. So that's lesson number 1. Prep the things you're going to use, that you're going to eat.
If you don't like asparagus, don't store asparagus.
I don't.
I know.
She does.
I do. Some of the kids like it, but
But that's why the Thrive Life food's so great. You can take what you want, and I don't have to have it.
exactly. And their asparagus is awesome. And actually, I want to, since you brought their Thrive Life up, there was City Homestead had asked what to do in a humid climate because the
Life.
moisture. No, the moisture gets into the Thrive food.
Oh, you just keep your oxygen absorbers.
What I was going to say is buy a smaller container, or if you buy the number 10 cans, divide it out into smaller mason jars and vacuum seal them. That way it will lock up the moisture.
And if you don't have a vacuum sealer, we have a video on how you can use a brake bleeder.
Exactly.
Like a hand pump brake bleeder for a car to fix their brake lines. You can get an attachment that'll go right on top of a regular old mason jar, and it will vacuum seal that sucker. Yep. So
it works out great.
Lesson number 1, prep the things you'll eat. And that goes for in the garden too.
Yep.
Don't grow the stuff like, it's okay to try things here and there, like, oh, I think I want to try this new variety of tomato. But don't grow 100 plants of it if you've never tried it.
Yeah, you might hate it. So, yeah, try a couple, and then next year, if you really like it, then grow more. But, yeah.
Now, next up is learn to can.
Yes.
Tell your story.
What story?
The story of your canning.
I hated canning. I hate canning. I can.
She can.
But I hate canning.
She can.
I don't know if anybody else is out there that doesn't like it. It's all the prep, okay? You have to sterilize the jars if you're doing water bath. If you're not, there's so much prep, and then there's so much cleanup, and it takes so long, especially if you're doing meat. Meat is 90 minutes, and you have to stand there and watch it and babysit in it. But I was always afraid of pressure canners too.
Dun dun dun.
When we started into this, I was like, I am never pressure canning anything. Those things scare me.
You don't want to know why?
Huh?
That's why.
That's why.
That's why.
I saw a few, if you don't pay attention to them, the top will go through the ceiling, and that just scared me. But you know what? You just have to read the directions that come with your canner.
And follow them.
Also, when you're canning, get the ball canning jar book. Please get the ball canning book, because it has everything in it that you need to be able to can properly.
Yes.
So,
now, there is a bit of controversy about canning lids. They used to be guaranteed for years and years and years and years, and they just recently changed it to 18 months or less.
I think they changed the way that they're made.
They did. They got cheap with the rings, or the lids rather.
Yep.
However, there is a solution, people. There is a solution, and it will save you very many money, many pesos, whatever. I don't know what that means. I can't be responsible for the words that are coming out of my own mouth.
Yes, you can.
Anyway.
And you are.
Tattler canning lids. We've got a bunch of them, and they're reusable. and they have a guarantee that's long, long, long.
Yes. They have a separate plastic lid and then the rubber seal. And you just, I'm still learning how to do them properly. I don't can a lot, so, it takes me a lot longer to figure this out.
But the Tatler ones, we've had great success with the Tatler ones. And I know why she's being hesitant a little bit, because we were early adopters of the Tatler lids. I heard them on the Glenn Beck show years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's perfect, reusable, we want that, and we bought a ton of them. Well, so many of them failed on us that we were just like, forget this is junk. Then they came out with version 2.0. They apologized and said version 1 was not that great.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, we'll get some.
Right. Well,
and then they were great.
Yeah. What was happening is the lid was, I think I was doing it wrong. Some of the lids would round up when it's supposed to suck down into the into the jar, and I think I was just doing it wrong. So I'm still getting the hang of them. I still like the metal lids, but that's just me.
But the Tatler work great.
I know.
And they're not going to cost you again.
Right. I know.
I know.
I know.
I know.
Try waxing the lids.
See, I don't understand that.
I don't know how to do that.
Gray Dragon, where do you get the Tatler lids? Just Google it.
Yeah.
They're online.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that to put it in the link
Yeah.
thing there, so sorry about that. But okay, so learn to can food. Get that ball canning book. There's a lot of great recipes in them too. And then here's the tricky part. Start canning.
Yep. Get the ball canning jar first. Your canning book first, not jar. Get the ball canning book first. And your can, read through it. Trust me, you will thank me, because
now
you gotta learn all this stuff before jumping in.
I'm going to openly say that we're hypocritical in the next thing that I'm going to suggest you to do, because we used to do it a lot, and we have not since we've been here in Wisconsin. Can beef broth, chicken broth, turkey broth. It saves you so much money.
Yeah, we just have not. Okay. Have we had a chance to do it? Probably a half a dozen times. We just haven't done it.
That's
We've got
true.
all the stuff to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just.
And what we'll do too is, like, if we'll have a Thanksgiving meal, we'll save that carcass and we'll save the gizzards and all that kind of stuff and put them in the freezer.
Yep.
Or if you've got to cut meat off a bone or cut this, save those bones, save the little chunks of meat that get away, and then can them, because I don't know about you, but when we use a lot of gravy at our house, probably not the best thing for you, but there's a lot of gravy that gets used.
Yeah, we do use a lot of gravy. We love a lot of gravy. But what was I going to say?
Sally H. Tara says canning is a waste of time and money. Well, Tara is wrong. She's flat out wrong. Yeah. And I'd be happy to tell her to her face she's wrong. Yeah. Because when you get the food for free or cheap, and all it is a little bit of electricity and time, sorry, Tara, wrong.
Or you raise the meat yourself. You want to can it.
Yeah.
Or you grow the veggies and fruits yourself, and you want to make jams. Or canned corn. Oh my gosh.
Goodness. Cody.
Cody's family grows a lot of corn. They have a big family, so they grow sweet corn.
Well, and they got cows and stuff.
Well, the sweet corn is for their consumption, not for the cows. That's not field corn. Field corn is gross. Don't eat that. So they said, we've got a lot of extra corn. We're done eating it. Come and pick. So she picked, I think, 2 whole rows.
But only a couple tubs. It was like a big tub.
It was a big locker tub full of corn, corn on the cob.
Oh my gosh.
It was the best corn I had ever had.
Nice and crisp, just the right amount of salt. Yep. And Tara, if you're listening, it didn't cost us anything except a little bit of effort.
It just time.
And we had corn for 8 months.
I think there might actually be 1 jar left.
Ooh.
Yeah. And when we use the pint jars, so we use 2 of them when we have dinner. But Claire did pretty much all of it by herself.
Yeah,
she was
awesome.
Great job.
She was awesome.
Great job doing it. She loves to can. So when it's canning season, she's coming home so we can can together.
Yes.
She loves it. I'm just not a huge fan.
Yeah.
So
But anyway, and just to make a note, we love Tara and Mike.
Yes,
We're friends
we
with
do.
them, but she's just flat out wrong on that.
Right.
We can agree to disagree.
Exactly. She can do her couponing. We'll grow it ourselves. So.
Does she coupon?
I think so. I don't know.
See, I view couponing as a waste of time.
See, I think that's a total waste of time.
And there's other ways to get cheaper food.
Right.
Anyway.
Right.
So, and I'll tell you what, if you can raise your own meats, like she was saying, you will score. The broths are amazing. The food, and the great thing is you don't have to keep it refrigerated.
Right. Exactly.
If the power goes out, guys, you
there.
still have fresh meats and vegetables that are not going bad anytime soon on your shelf, and you don't have to refrigerate them.
Right. Chicken, turkey, beef, pork is phenomenal canned.
Oh, yeah.
And it makes for meal prep so quick and easy. You just open up this can. You can make a gravy with the juice that's in there, and you've got beef tips over rice or noodles.
Happy bread.
He loves that. That's one of his favorite meals. So we don't do ground beef.
I know a lot of people do.
I know a lot of people like to do that. We don't. We've never done that, so I don't know if I would like it better. But I think you cook it first. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I've seen them do it that way.
And then you can't raw pack that.
I've seen them do it both ways.
Really?
But I think the time and temperature and pressure is different.
Okay. Well,
but don't quote us on that.
Yeah, you'll have to look in the ball jar or the ball book. I just would think that if you packed it raw, that it would be one big, huge lump of meat.
Teresa, canning does save you money. Oh, I agree. Okay. Now here's another thing I'd like to point out. That once you start getting into this side of being preparedness, you'll find that your ears will perk up, and you'll find deals, and you'll find people that are like-minded more often. It's kind of like if you're not looking for a job, you don't see the help wanted signs everywhere. But if you're looking for a job, all of a sudden they're everywhere.
Right. And
it's kind of the same thing. Like, for example, you could go to farmers markets. Now, we did this in Cincinnati, and it was, so don't say, oh, you have to be out in the rural areas to make this happen. Every Sunday afternoon, after, right at the end of when the big flea markets are going to close, we'd go right over to the fruit guy.
All the vendors, the fruit vendors.
They're just going to throw it all away.
They don't want to take it
They
back.
don't take it home. They put it in the dumpster, so you can offer them pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
And so you can that.
Yes. We've made applesauce.
Oh, yeah.
With apples that
Bushels
we've gotten.
and bushels.
Peaches.
Jams.
Grapes. We've done grape jam. We've done a lot of things like that.
The melons never made it home, though. The kids were just like,
no, I know.
Grapes
Those,
and stuff.
Yeah. We actually watched vendors putting
Dumping
fruit
stuff
into a dumpster. It broke my heart.
Tons of tomatoes, and you can just, I don't advocate dumpster diving. You could pick through what's good.
Right.
But if you just ask them, you're going to pay pennies on the dollar. And around here too, now even if you live in a bigger city, what you can do is kind of look out for the rural areas, because a lot of places have, like, I don't even know how to say it. It's like farmers markets, but on a bigger scale, not like garage sale stuff, but food.
Yeah, there was a flea market that we used to go to in Cincinnati, and they had a whole section where it was just different farmers that brought in their stuff. So,
and once again, if you're looking for a deal, go right before they're done, and they'll be happy to make a deal for you. Mm-hmm. So, canning is hugely important. Mm-hmm. Now, once you have the skill of canning down, gardening.
Yeah. Right. That's a challenge. We're still learning. What, 10 years later?
10 years in.
We're still learning. And it's been a fun experience, learning, new things and when to start your plants, and there's a planning guide, Clyde's Garden Planner. Look it up on Google.
You're going to want it.
They even have an app, and I can't remember. I think it was like $3 app. No big deal. But you put in your frost dates, and it tells you what you can plant when, and it's really, really cool. But you know, we've moved from Florida to Ohio, so that's extreme zone change. And then
we had a big garden in Indiana too.
We had a big garden in Indiana, and then we moved from Ohio to Wisconsin here. Big. Almost as drastic as from Florida to Ohio.
Yeah.
Big learning curve. So in the last 10 years, we've had to learn 3 different growing zones and what you can grow, when you can grow it, how to grow it, how to not kill it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to trellis it. You know, which ones do you want to plant? Do you want to plant bush beans? Do you want to plant string beans?
Once again, plant what you're going to eat.
Right. Right.
We made that mistake so many times. You look at the little seed pack and go, oh, wow, this looks good. We should try this.
Oh, my gosh.
This looks great. Look here. And then you get these tiny little fruits that look nothing like.
Right. Well, okay. And our very first garden, I got this wild pear.
Oh, this is funny.
I wanted to plant a garden. And no kidding, it was probably 10 foot by 3 foot. No, it was practically nothing.
Let's start.
Let's do something. And this was when we still lived in Florida. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to plant tomatoes, and I'm just going to put the seeds right in the ground.
Okay, first mistake.
Well, the second mistake was I didn't know that the seeds that I planted said tomato seeds, but they were actually labeled, and they were actually cucumber seeds.
So she's puzzled. What's this stringy plant? What's going on here?
And then I see a cucumber. This is not a tomato plant. So that was my very first, oh brother, one of these moments.
Yeah.
So that was learn what your seeds look like. Look at the inside of the plant. How old was I? I was young. I mean, this
15 years ago.
This was
15 years ago, maybe.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
And okay, and then here's the thing, gardening is one of those things where you could be 10 miles away and have a completely different
grow zone.
That
happens here.
The soil can change across the street.
Yep.
So you're going to have to actually make the call that you're going to have to learn your soil. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to get it tested, pH tested, mm-hmm. and then you're going to have to find out, okay, what plants do I want to plant? Yep. What do they need? And then you have to amend that soil. Okay. Now, as you're doing this, I would suggest you start to learn the big 3: composting, mm-hmm. biochar, mm-hmm. and worm tea.
Yep.
Now, we'll go over some of this stuff in future Monday night prepper, whatever we're calling it.
Prepper Mondays.
Mm-hmm. But worm tea is made out of worm poop. It's their castings.
Worm castings.
You feed it some unsulfured molasses, and there's a process, and then you're basically making liquid amazement.
Yes.
For plants.
Right.
It's alive. It's literally alive. Mm-hmm. Biochar. Scientists were baffled down in South America when they would find these humongous Aztec and Inca civilizations, and believe it or not, even though it's a rainforest down where these were, the soil's not very rich. And so they were scratching their heads like, how in the world were they feeding all these people in these tight areas? Like, how are they doing it? Well, they found as they dug down in the gardening areas, they brought up carbon, biochar. And what it is it's literally carbon. And if you look at it on a microscopic level, there's tiny little tunnels and tubes and stuff in there. And what happens is they would amend that with a fertilizer, then that would go into the gardens, and in times of drought, it would release water and nutrients, and then when it was times of plenty, it would hold it back. Mm-hmm. And we had 6-7 foot tall tomato plants mm-hmm. when we would use biochar. I personally saw at least a 300% increase in our gardens.
Yes. Our tomatoes, they were the beefsteak tomatoes, just the regular, not regular, but they were the orange beefsteak tomatoes. Phenomenal.
Yep.
2.5 pounds of one tomato. It was, it took 2 hands to hold it. It was that big. I couldn't believe how big it was. So it was definitely worth it.
Yep. And the third thing is composting. Learn your dookie. Because when you start...
Not just dookie. You
there's
can
other
put
stuff, grass.
kitchen scraps in there. Just don't put onions.
Well, they're
going to
learn that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that later.
We'll do that. But when you start getting more active in how you're taking control of your life in terms of preparedness, how you're feeding yourself, you're going to find that a lot of these systems interlock. Like, if you've got chickens, well, then you can use that poop. You can't use it right away, but you can use it later.
Right. If you have rabbits, you can
better.
use that now. You can use that now.
But learning composting, gardening, that's hugely important. Then we'll also end up talking about predator control. And I'm not just talking about the four-legged kind.
No.
Because if there were a horrible situation in the world, you're not going to just have to deal with deer. And I'm not talking about going out and being aggressive to anybody, but I am saying protecting your family.
Right, exactly. There was
questions?
Not a question, just a comment. Vicki Lynn, Cheaper Living, says, my family eats everything we grow.
Cool.
But our soil was contaminated last year by a neighbor spraying Roundup. So I was unable to grow this year.
Oh, no.
Next year it's on. I'm so sorry that happened. That
I hope you had a conversation with your neighbor so that it doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jerry uses horse biscuits in his garden.
Yep.
I would be cautious when using horse biscuits because they don't have a rumen to process all of the seeds that are in the hay that they eat, and then that gets planted in those horse biscuits in your garden. So
you'll be dealing with more weeds.
You'll be having more weeds, so just be cautious.
I mean, it works. It's great.
Yes, it does. It does do that, but it does add some weeds to your garden.
Yes. So,
that's funny.
Alicia is asking about where can she get the biochar for your tomatoes. I make it.
Yes.
And I can tell you how to make it, but you really need to watch a video. We've got videos on it.
Right.
I think I have 2 or 3. But what it is basically happening to make biochar is you need a burn barrel and then a burn chamber. So what you've got is a barrel that's like this, and then a barrel that's filled with wood. Hold on. Yeah. That's filled with wood like this, just sitting here. Yeah. And then you put wood all around it, and you put a semi-top lid on there with a smokestack, and you burn it. And basically what happens is it makes that inside chamber into like an oven. So it burns the gases out of the wood, but it does not burn the actual wood. It becomes carbon.
Right.
And so there's ways you can do it, and it's free. It's just time.
Yep.
I mean, I used garbage cans out of, when I was doing it.
Yeah, we used a burn barrel that we had gotten, just an old barrel, and then we used one of those galvanized trash bins.
Yep.
That was smaller, by, I don't know, 3 or 4 inches around. Well,
the 55-gallon metal drums that we have now are perfect.
Yeah, that's what, and then you just get like a 20-gallon galvanized drum.
Well, and you drill holes in the bottom so that you can get that airflow going up through there.
Yeah.
And, it takes like, I don't know, it takes like an hour and a half to let it completely get all those gases out of there. And then you just let it cool down. And you have a big old tub of
charcoal
biochar. Then the process, you take that biochar and I used a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
And you bash it into small pieces that are like, like the size of a eraser head.
Yeah.
Then you have to inoculate it with a fertilizer, which we use worm tea.
Right.
But then that can go into the ground, and you won't even believe what will happen in your garden.
Right. There was somebody who used bokashi, which I've never heard of that, but they say they use it with the charred wood. They use charred wood.
Well, yes, that's their fertilizer.
It's the same thing.
Same idea. Yeah.
Same idea.
Okay. Now another controversial, but I think necessary broad stroke thing that preppers do is to be able to defend yourself and your family. And I'm going to start again by saying we will never advocate going out and being aggressive to anybody. But I got to tell you, if somebody comes after my wife or my kids, I will resist them with a force that would scare people. And we train for that. I'm not saying aggression. I'm saying defense.
Defensive. Yeah, we're completely on the defensive. Yeah.
So, and there's a bunch of ways. I mean, some people feel comfortable with Second Amendment kind of items, which we do. Other people feel like I can't have that in my house, and that's up to you. But you need to figure out different ways that you can protect yourself if somebody were physically larger or were armed in a different way. You got to think, all right, how am I going to make it out of this or protect my kids? You know, you can't just throw your hands up and say, well, it's up to God. Well, I'm here to tell you, we're Christians, and we've been Christians for our adult lives. And I don't see anywhere in the Bible where it says that God made you to be a punching bag or a doormat. Rather the contrary. And so that, yeah, Brad has the St. Bernard. Yeah, you got to defend yourself.
Yes.
And you got to defend your family.
Yep.
And we can get into that. That'll be a whole other topic too.
Right.
And then now another topic that I think does not get mentioned as much as it should is building community.
And you know, that's hard to do sometimes when you live in a very rural area, I think. But you just need to hang out at the feed store or talk to the local people.
Go to the farm store.
Go to the farm store. That's what I meant.
Look at the boards of people. People will advertise all kinds of different things on those announcement boards. Get involved with FFA.
Yep.
Get involved with these different groups that align themselves with like-minded people, and you're going to find that so-and-so does this and so-and-so does that, and then, but here's the key. Get involved in their world. Don't just shake a hand and say, see you later, and that's great, I know who you are.
Yeah.
Figure out a way that you can be mutually beneficial to each other.
Exactly.
For example, the Don.
The Don. Yeah.
Good.
That's great.
The Don.
The Don is our neighbor. And when we first moved here, our grass was about 3 feet high. And he just showed up and started cutting.
That's how we met Don. He was cutting our grass without us asking because we were moving in.
And I don't know if he was just trying to help us out. No, I think that was
Of course he was doing
He was
that.
just trying to help us out. He knew that we had a lot to do. And he just wanted to give us a hand. And it was such a sweet gesture.
And then we had the opportunity to help him out, and it just kept going back and forth.
Yes. And we still, to this day.
Yeah, we raised some of his cows here, and then he gave us some feed, and it helped us out.
Exactly.
And find those relationships. And then here's the scary part. Start to talk gently about what-if scenarios.
Yep.
Like, you can bring it up. There's so many ways that you can do it. Like on the news, hey, did you see what's going on in Venezuela?
Nope.
Then you say, yeah, the people are pretty much, it's chaos.
Yeah.
And it's food. And it's over, and then you can kind of bring that up and say, you know what, I don't know what that would be like if it came here.
Yeah.
Open-ended conversation.
Right.
Open-ended conversation.
It's nice to have an area where, our neighbors are friendly and we can chat with folks and, help each other out. Because that's what community's about. So,
well, and also,
being here.
Not just being a taker. Making sure that you're bringing value to their life, too. Like, I have a hard time when people just want to, when people just bless you. And I'm grateful, don't get me wrong, but I also want to make sure I'm giving back into that situation where I'm not just going, okay, take. But I want to make sure that I'm seeding back into them. That way, this is one of the things I say all the time. The rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yep.
And those are the relationships that you want to try to cultivate. And so we're going to deal with that. Defense is an issue, but also now, so creating groups. That's going to be a good one, and that's actually in Tyler Woods' book, by the way. I will shamelessly plug his book yet again.
Well, and try to be as welcoming to new folks coming in as possible. You know, don't think that just because you have your little group or your little, I won't say clique, but you have your little group. Don't exclude anybody from building a bigger community, because the more people that are there, they can go out and help others around as well. You know, we're not trying to build this tiny little clique and that's it. Nobody can come in. That's not what, I mean, we want, this is a huge community, and I'm not exactly sure how I want to finish that, but just try to be as welcoming as possible. Don't exclude anyone because they watch our channel.
Okay. Another thing that we're going to be discussing is learning skills, survival skills, basic things like, do I really know how to light a fire? What if I go over to the stove and there's nothing there anymore?
Yeah, there's no electricity. How are you going to light the gas? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Is there going to be a meetup in Wisconsin anytime this year? Well, Glory Farm. Yeah, absolutely. That's part of the plan. And you guys have to be there. You're bringing your cannon, so we're going to have cannon rides.
That's not their cannon.
We can borrow it.
Cannon rides?
Yeah. Now, Jean,
Good.
you just
hit the nail
perfect
on the head.
segue. I was just going to show you. Get physical copies.
Yep.
Physical,
Yep.
not just digital.
Right.
Of all of this stuff that we're talking about, canning and gardening, first aid, and start learning how to do it. Like, these were gifted to us by Prepsteader Bob's son, Jonathan.
Yes. And we don't have a first or half price books anywhere near here, and he used to work over in the Twin Cities, and he just happened to go and he got a copy of these for his family, and I was like, hey, next time you go there, can you get me a copy of those too? And he said sure. I said I'd pay him, but nope, not gonna do it.
He's a good kid.
Yeah, and the other one that he got us was the Constitution.
Yep. And here's the thing. These two books are amazing, and just amazing. And there are links down below for these specific ones. You don't have to get these specific ones, but get some information and make sure it's physical, guys.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden the computer doesn't work anymore, how's that going to help you?
No, and if you get ebooks, lots of places have ebooks. Print them out. Put them in a binder. Print them out, because you know what? If your hard drive breaks on your computer, or your little thumb drive gets lost or put into the wash,
Which it did.
that wasn't my fault.
It was my fault.
Then it's gone. So print it out. I have cheese making books. I have curriculum that I've gotten free printouts
From homeschool
or free
stuff,
from PDFs, and I've printed them out.
Yep.
So have copies of.
Don't
all
just
this kind of
deal
stuff.
with digital.
No.
Now, here, I wanted to read this comment here. Central Florida Prepper. Practice and drill now before SHTF. That way you know how to deal with failures. That's one of the things we're going to cover. And yes, these skills don't do you any good if they're just in a book.
No, you got to learn them and know them. This one's actually, I'll be honest, I have not yet read through these books. But this one is how to deal with tropical, desert, cold weather, mountain terrain, sea. I don't know what NBC environments are, but...
National Broadcast Company.
Oh, okay.
That's a hostile liberal environment.
This is very... That's so funny. But, yes.
So, yeah. Oh, Heather, I've started reading through my son's Boy Scout manual. There are.
Yes.
I loved my manual. It taught you everything, like how to make a fish hook out of wood or fire out of nothing. And I learned those skills when I was a kid. But the point is, get these things because you're going to want to read through them, yes. But then you're going to want to learn them. Because if a skill is only in here, it's probably not going to do you much good when it's time to do it. So Florida Prepper, thank you for bringing that up. And so now, we're going to be dealing with all of this stuff, guys. But as we're kind of rounding out the evening, I'm trying to think how we could do some sort of a giveaway. In honor of us kicking off Prepper Monday again, you guys know that we sell our Thrive Life freeze-dried food. And so I want to give away some of these snackies. This one is great.
I love
Cranberry
these.
Crunch. Oh, you get almonds.
Cranberries, almonds, and coconut bites. Winning.
And cherries.
No.
Cherries.
Those are cranberries.
Those are just
cranberries.
Oh. Well, what do you know?
Almonds, coconut bites, and cranberries.
And these, I expected this to be gross, to be honest. I went in going, oh, no, I'm not going to want that. Carrot fruit crisps. They taste so awesome. They're very much like, almost like a tart apple.
Yeah. And there are only a few ingredients in this. Peach puree, strawberries, apple juice concentrate, and carrot juice.
Oh, Central Florida Prepper, that is very kind of you. Your knowledge is the most awesome giveaway. Well, okay, so how are we going to figure out what to do? How are we going to do it?
I know, we should have probably thought about this beforehand.
Okay, it's a number between 1 and 1,000. Whoever gets it on your mark, get set, go.
Okay.
So, whoever guesses the number I just said, between 1 and 1,000, you're going to get it.
And you'll have to email us your...
So you better watch for the number. They're going to come in so fast.
Gosh. You're crazy.
I'll try to watch slow, too. I'm going to keep an eye on the numbers.
Okay.
No. Here they come. Dun, 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 dun. Clawfoot is very close.
Shh, don't say anything.
Are you getting it? We're watching.
I'm looking.
Threadneck Prepper. Clawfoot is the closest, I think. Still close. Got to go lower, Clawfoot.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still seeing them all. Michael, that would have been a good choice, and I didn't think of it. If you guys are looking, no Threadneck.
Oh, jeez.
No David. It's higher than that.
Shh, don't say anything.
Oh, come on, somebody's got to get it.
Keep guessing.
Barbara
Keep
is the
guessing.
closest,
Barbara's
but she's a
the
little high.
closest.
Barbara is the closest, but she's a little bit high.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Oh, it's getting close. Nobody, not yet, not yet. Clawfoot. Oh, Adaptive Maritimer is the closest, but still high.
Low.
Oh, no, a little low, sorry. Carol's very close. Uh-oh.
Tina's close.
Oh, no. No. Teresa's closed. Shaken's closed. Donna's closed. Come on, guys. You're so right there. You're just missing it just by a little bit. Oh, come on. Somebody help me out here. Adaptive Maritimer is just a tad high. Oh, come on. Somebody's got to get this.
You gave him 1,000 numbers.
Yeah, but we've whittled it down so easy.
Donna, you're so close.
Oh, man. David is within 1 degree. Come on, somebody's got to get it. I pretty much told. You're so close.
Oh, criminy. Went too fast.
I'm still on it. Uh-oh, now it's going really fast. You guys, you're hitting right around it. This is amazing.
Gosh. Got it. Pat Ritchie got it.
Got it? Pat
Yeah,
Ritchie?
Pat Ritchie got it.
672.
Yep. Pat Ritchie got it first.
We're going to send
Tina
you...
got it next, but...
We're going to send you all of this Thrive Life awesomeness. Pat, what you need to do is you need to email me and say, here's my address where I want you to mail this. And that's at info.bigfamilyhomestead@gmail.com.
Yeah, Pat Ritchie, she got it. She.
Could be he, she, we don't know.
Sorry.
And that's not commentary on today's...
No, not at all.
Nope.
Not at all.
So email us, info.bigfamilyhomestead@gmail.com.
Yeah. Oh,
Man, you guys were right around that.
I need a coconut bite.
Well, or I guess we're going to give
We
them...
have more.
Okay.
We have more.
Wait, what are you doing?
I can open the treat.
You could show them.
I can.
You can show them. Well, and that's another whole side to things, guys. Our preparedness goes out 25 years with fresh food because it's freeze-dried.
All right, look
It's
at
awesome. Oh, it's so good. So good.
A little higher. There we go. That's not even the whole bag. And these are the single sizes.
It's plenty snack
There's
even for a big guy like me.
another third left.
It's enough for even me.
Yeah. These are so fantastic. And they're super easy, super single ingredients.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, we're going to call it a night, guys. But before we go, we like to pray together with you guys as a community. But we realize that not everybody's into that.
Right.
And we don't feel like it's our job to try to force anything on you. So if that's not your thing, we say good night to you. And you may head on out. And hopefully you'll be back. But if you would like to pray with us, we would love to do that. And so that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. Father God, thank you so very much for each and every one of these folks that have come. Lord, I ask that you just bless them. Give them a big old hug tonight and tell them just how much you love them. Let them know that you are not a distant off in the universe, cosmos, God, but you're present here as well. And you're interested in our day-to-day lives, and you're not ever going to be in a position where you don't care, because you always care. Help us to be more like you today, Lord. Help us to reach out to those in need. And help us to be your hands and feet, even if it seems difficult. We love you, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Alrighty, guys. What?
Nothing. When my eyes are closed for a while, I have to open them wide.
Readjust.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Have a great...
One question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ollie Fields is asking, do we dehydrate our own? We do dehydrate.
But that's different.
But that's different. I love this.
It's freeze-dried.
Right.
So dehydrating just removes some of the moisture with heat, but freeze-drying is a completely different process.
Right.
And that way it lasts as fresh for 25 years.
Yep.
So
There. I had to answer that question before we signed off.
you guys have a blessed night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.